welcome our first guest, Francisco Chia Santana. What's going on, Chia?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
It is a
You're
pleasure.
welcome.
We have been looking so forward to speaking with you. I had a chance to see you fight out in Glendale. That was a great fight, a great ending. You put the guy down. And so now here we are, ready for another big fight and a chance to see you on HBO pay-per-view. But before we dive right into the fight at hand, let's rewind it a little bit, shall we? Shall we, RB?
Yeah, I want to kind of rewind back to you to your journey, where you kind of started out, and you were with Gary Shaw for many years, and you were fighting really tough when you were coming up. You weren't fighting cupcakes and turkeys. You were fighting really good guys. And then Gary Shaw made a deal with Rock Nation, and then there was no deal. And, so you kind of been through a lot. What happened with that whole Gary Shaw Rock Nation situation? Because you were throwing up the rock sign at one time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you mentioned, I've been through my ups and downs. For a while, I started with Goose and Tudor early on in my career, and again, I was matched tough. And for whatever reason, they ended up releasing me, and I was just hopping around. I remember when I think the way I got discovered by Gary Shaw was that I took a fight in 2-week notice to fight Philadelphia's J-Rock, Julian Williams.
That was 2 weeks notice?
Yes.
I had no idea.
Wow.
You got a draw with him. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I think they just needed someone local that can sell tickets at that time, and the Chumash Casinos is just right up my alleyway. And when I remember I'm getting a phone call and asking if I wanted to take a fight against J-Rock, and I was just eager to fight, so I immediately I said yes, and till this day, that's my toughest fight ever. J-Rock. J-Rock, yeah.
Definitely
well,
a tough kid.
That was also at 154, and you're natural, 147-pounder?
Yeah, it was we fought at I think it was at 54, 56, something like that it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I fought as heavy as middleweight, 160. But like I said before, I was a lost kid. I was just different trainers, and I was used more of a stepping stone and a sparring partner, and but even then I used to I held my own, and I made a few upsets early on in my career until finally neat story was I went up to Gary Shaw myself, actually Seymour, which it was Gary Shaw's right hand man. I went up to Seymour, and my very good friend John Benavidez, I went up to them and I told them after a fight at the Chumash, I said, "Hey guys, I'm not a high demand type of fighter. I'm not your typical diva. I just want to fight. Give me the opportunity. I can sell tickets. I'm a fan pleasing type of fighter. That likes to come forward and put on great shows. And basically I begged to get signed, and Gary Shaw took me on, and the rest is history. Like you said, yeah, ended up selling his company to Rock Nation for a while. So for a moment, I thought I was going to be part of JV, but like I said before, that was a very short marriage. I think hopefully they caught their marriage annulled because that didn't last a month.
I was like, yo, Chia, he's up there throwing up the rock sign, and then like 2 weeks later, it's like you're no longer part of the Illuminati,
Yeah, I was just with the hopes of maybe I could meet Beyonce and all them, and JC himself. I was like, man, that'd be so cool if I could get to meet them. But yeah, I didn't get to meet them. But it all played out the way it was supposed to play out, and now here I am. got picked up by Top Rank, which I am very blessed, and now signed by my manager, Frank Espinosa. So finally, I always say it's not how you start the race, it's how you end it. And I feel that finally now I got the right team, and I have an opportunity of a lifetime, July 23rd.
Speaking of things that have changed your life, I read something that back in 2014, you took a trip to the Philippines. You were in camp with Amir Khan, who was preparing for the Peterson fight, so you went out there to spar with him, and you ended up staying there and had this really life-changing experience that changed the way you look at boxing. That is wonderful, but can you talk a little about that?
Of course. I mean, I think, I've always, like I said, people who just use me as a sparring partner, but that specific time when I went out there and just seeing how, Manny Pacquiao, the way he trained and the way he sparred, he was sparring with Ruslan at the time, and another guy, Rustam Nagaev, another Russian kid. They were, seeing them spar, and then me stepping in there with Amir Khan and holding my own, and it made me realize, you know what? If these guys are the elite fighters, there's no reason why I can't be up there with them. They don't do anything different. They don't train. I train just as hard, maybe even harder than them. So, just being around that atmosphere and talking to Freddie Roach at the time, me and Freddie ended up clicking, and then just talking about boxing. Of course, he's a big boxing guy and like myself. So all that just changed. It changed the way of me seeing things in the boxing world, and it made me realize, you know what? If they can do it, why can't I? And that was my mentality after that. I think that turned my life around. And that's once I came back from that camp, I remember jumping immediately in camp with Canelo and to help him with the Josecito Lopez fight. And I remember jumping in with him, and I was holding my own with him too. And all those experiences helped in my favor, and it definitely uplifted my career and uplifted me and made me mature as a person.
Excellent. And now, fast forward to now, you're in this big fight with Jose Benavidez Jr. on pay-per-view on July 23rd on HBO. Was it easy to make this fight since you have the same promoter, or were there any hiccups along the way?
You know what? I got to say a big thank you to Frank Espinosa. He's the one that was talking to Bob and Carl, and they were just trying to come to an agreement, I guess. The entire time I didn't know that this was going on. I remember when I fought Ed Paredes on Unimas back in April, and I was told by Brad Goodman that I was supposed to be fighting again on Unimas. I think their plans were to put me on Unimas broadcast for maybe 3 or 4 more fights before I got an opportunity like this. But Frank had other plans, and Bob agreed with him. And when I got the phone call, I was excited. When he told me that this was happening, I was actually I was pretty stoked. And now I'm focused on my task, July 23rd.
I have to ask, so you didn't know any of this was going on. So Espinosa, Frank, he's behind the scenes. He's working this deal out, and you didn't even know that, you were going to fight Jose. So he never came to you and said, hey, Frank, you want to fight Benavidez?
No. He had mentioned something about, he says, I'm going to try to work on getting you Benavidez. And I said, okay. And that was the first time I actually ever worked with a manager. So it was all new to me. So I remember when I went the week after to the Manny Pacquiao fight, and I was walking at the MGM, and I heard from a few reporters coming up to me, and they were congratulating me from my performance a week prior to the Pacquiao fight, and they were also saying, like, hey, I heard the rumors rumors are that maybe you and Benavidez might be here at the MGM for July 23rd. And I remember me and my wife, we just kind of looked at each other and were like, what? I'm like, really? And they were even surprised, like, wait. They were like, you didn't know that Bob and Frank are working on it? I'm like, no, I mean, I heard something, but I didn't think it was going to be here. I didn't think it was going to be this big. I'm like, that's really cool. But at the end of the day, we all know how boxing is, and we all know that things can change from one minute to the next. So I didn't hold my breath. I was just continue to train, continue to work, and I just basically, whatever the man upstairs wants for me, it was going to happen, and it happened.
Yeah, I think it's all been a blessing. You started out where you did. You ended up with Gary Shaw, then you're Rock Nation, then you're not, but then you ended up in the great hands of Espinosa Boxing. I mean, I don't think you could ask for better than that. So I feel like it's really been a blessing for your career. Now, this fight, Chia, let's be honest, is this sink or swim for you? Does your career depend on winning this fight?
Yes, I think so. I think this is let's face it, I'm 30 years old. I haven't been through a lot of wars, but today, I've been through a lot of bumps on the road, and I faced a lot of adversity. And I feel that my time, I feel like my time's now. I feel like I'm just entering my prime, and I don't think that no one's seen the best of me yet. And I said, if I want to accomplish my childhood dream and my lifetime dream, which is to be a world champion and be recognized, as one of the boxing great fighters, I think that July 23rd is a perfect fight for me to display that. So of course, it's I'm coming in, with everything that I got, and may the best man win July 23rd.
So I want to go through some of your past opposition for the listeners that may not know, but you fought the guys like Julian Williams, Jermell Charlo, Saddam Ali. You fought tough guys. So let's talk about Benavidez' opposition. What are your thoughts on his opposition thus far in his career? When you compare your guys' resumes, what do you feel about his opposition to date?
To be honest, I haven't really gone through the opposition that he has faced. I think that I know more of him because he was Manny Pacquiao's sparring partner, and he was the youngest fighter to compete in the as a pro, and he had a good amateur background. But as far as in the pro rankings, I never thought I'd be facing him. So when it happened, I really didn't pay much attention to the opposition he had faced. I remember watching the Mauricio Herrera fight at that time. I was actually going back and forth because I think there was two fights going on. I think his fight was at the Mandalay Bay, and there was fights across the street that same night at the MGM. And I remember just clicking back and forth because I wanted to watch both of them. They're both good fights, and I can't afford DVR, so I was. It's not like I can record one fight and go back and rewatch the replay. So I was just going back and forth. I wanted to catch it live. So I saw parts and pieces of that fight. I did see the when he fought Pacquiao Jr. I did see that fight, and obviously his last fight I didn't get to see it because we both fought the same night. He fought in Arizona, and I ended up fighting in Glendale that night, same night.
Yeah. Any concerns that he might come in overweight, and if he does, are you going to get some extra cash? He's come in overweight a couple times recently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he came in overweight when he was trying to make 140. I think it's clear that that maybe his body just outgrew the junior welterweight division, and he moved up to welterweight. I don't have any concerns on that. I'm sure he's going to be in great shape. I'm sure he's going to come in at weight. I don't really focus on that. I just focus on on myself and what I need to do, and make sure that I hit the weight target, and not just that, but I listen to my coach and follow the game plan July 23rd. So I'm just focused on myself and my task in front of me, and I'll let him focus on his.
When you look at the task in front of you, Chia, what's something that you think Junior does very well?
Yeah, I mean, he keeps saying that he's gonna, he does have a good jab, so he likes to use it a lot. He likes to move. He was a good boxer. I mean, to be a good boxer, you got amateur standard. You got to be, know how to box. So I know he likes to box and in that. But I'm more like I'll take it as a once the bell rings, and I'll adjust from round to round. And the way I see it is I got 10 rounds to work, and each round is an individual fight. So I have 10 individual fights that night. So I just got to make sure that I win every fight.
That's right. So as you fight, have you done anything different? We know you can't disclose any strategy or anything like that, but in terms of preparation, have you done anything different from this camp, like different sparring partners or strength and conditioning, different things?
No, I mean, I feel like I already have the right team, and obviously it's been working. So I'm just I have my thing is train smart. I try to train, listen to my body, listen to my trainers. But other than that, no. I mean, I'm very fortunate to have good quality sparring partners in my own gym. We got tall guys, we got short guys, we got bangers, we got boxers. So I'm very fortunate to not have to travel much to get sparring. Today I did spar with my friend Valdivia. So he helps me out, I help him out. So but other than that, I haven't really not necessarily needed to change anything. If anything, just be focused and train hard like I know how to do, and just come 100% ready for July.
Well, now that we've gotten the particulars of the fight out of the way, we want to know a little bit more about Chia, the man outside the ring. And we did a little research on you, and we heard that you are not only are you a family guy, but you're a big rodeo guy, and you're also really, really into telenovelas. Is that true?
Yes, that is very true. I like you said, I'm a family man. I like to do everything with my wife and my child. There's times that I take them to the gym with me. There's other times that we like to do things together. Usually after every fight, we have a tradition, my wife and I, that we take our daughter to Disneyland, and that's always been a tradition. That's how I celebrate after a fight, is by watching my daughter have a good time. There's no greater reward than seeing that. Yeah, I mean, I do like rodeos. I like to dance a lot of banda. Me and my wife, I got the whole nine. I got the cowboy boots. I got the hat. I'm like what we say. I let my heritage definitely come out.
That's beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, put it this way. Even when my wife and I got married, we actually had an actual banda, and ended up changing. I was just so eager to change my wardrobe, my clothes, because after ceremony, I had one. I was wearing the dress shoes and the tie and everything. But I remember meeting with our wedding planner. I remember I was like, okay, so when do I change into my boots and my hat? When do I change into my boots and my hat? That's all I kept talking about. So yeah,
that's funny. I love that though. That's so cool.
I really like that. I used to surf as well, but my wife says I can't surf anymore because the last time I surfed, I got wiped out and I hit myself with some rocks, and Yeah, that was pretty dangerous. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe no surfing for me, at least until sometime. But
well, listen.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Since we know you're into these telenovelas, we have a little game that we want to play with you, and it's called La Vida de Santana. I'm going to give you a scenario that's like a telenovela, and I want you to act it out. I want you to tell us how you would act the scene out. Are you down to play this game with us?
Okay, let's give it a try. Maybe I'll find out and I have a career after boxing.
That's right. Okay, so here's the scenario, Chia. You find a baby on the side of the road, and you want to bring this defenseless baby home, and you have to tell your wife you want to keep this poor, abandoned baby. So on the whole ride home, you're thinking about what you are going to tell your wife. The rain is pouring down on your car, the dust is kicking up on the road, and finally you come face to face with your wife. And you have to tell her, telenovela style, that you want to keep this baby. Okay, hold on. I got some music for you, too. Are you ready?
Do you want this in Spanish or English?
Either one you feel comfortable in. You ready to go?
Claudia, encontré a este bebé en la calle. Pobrecito bebé. No sé qué hacer. Deberíamos adoptarlo, amor. Este pobrecito bebé indefenso. Ayúdame. ¿Qué haría Jesús si estuviera en nuestros zapatos? Así, hay que dar a este bebé, mi amor. Hay que adoptarlo. Y tal vez nuestra hija tendrá un nuevo hermanito. ¿Tú qué dices?
¡Yeah! Yeah, I think a telenovela. Whenever you decide you want to stop fighting, I think you are good to go.
Yeah, I was gonna try to cry, but I mean, I don't think I can act that far out. So.
Okay, that sounded pretty good to me.
Yeah, all right.
Chia, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. I just want to remind the listeners that you are in the ring against Jose Benavidez Jr. on July 23rd on HBO pay-per-view. Tune into the fight. It's going to be a great fight. And thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Take care and viva la raza.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll see you in Vegas,
right.
Chia. Good luck.
We'll see you then. Exactly. Thank you.
Okay.